Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. This is Dr. Mary Payton with All About STEM Radio. As you know, I come to you every Monday from 7 to 8 p.m. here on Fishbowl Radio Network. And from what I hear, it's raining in Texas. I'm sorry, because it's beautiful here in Hawaii. Um, Hopefully we're Facebook Live because I can't see it here, but maybe I'm just having a senior moment. Okay, wait a minute. Nope. All right, Brandon, do you see it? Did it kick in on you for Facebook Live?
Let me check.
Okay, well then I'm going to continue to start. All right, I want to wish everyone out there a happy Memorial Day. Hopefully y'all got some barbecuing in. I know I did. Also, I want to give a special thanks to all of the nurses and essential workers and teachers that are finishing up. The teachers are finishing up this year, but the nurses and all essential workers are all working and keeping us safe and keeping things going for us. And also, congratulations to all of the 2020 graduating seniors, preschool kids, college kids. I know this has been a little different for y'all, but that's okay. I want you to have a great future, great year, and I want to let you know All About STEM Radio is extremely, extremely proud of you. Now, I have a very special guest on, and his name is Brandon Lewis. You're not going to believe it, he is one of my students from middle school. I taught him when I first came to Fort Worth, and I was teaching middle school in Fort Worth ISD. Okay. I just got a text from Paul. But anyway, he was one of my students in Fort Worth ISD, and for some reason we kept in touch with each other. When he graduated at TCC, he wanted to make sure I was there, and it was a rainstorm, y'all. But I drove through that rainstorm to make sure I saw him graduate. So I'm extremely, extremely proud of him. He is now at the University of Oklahoma, and he is doing wonderful. So, Brandon, will you introduce yourself to people and tell them a little bit about you?
Yes, thanks, of course, for having me, first of all, on your show, Dr. Payton. My name is Brandon Lewis. I am a current junior at the University of Oklahoma. I'm 24. I'm majoring in broadcast journalism. I'm an only child. I love sports. If you know me, I'm a sports fanatic. I love traveling. I'm very outgoing. So, yeah.
Well, hey, y'all, he was a very, very smart young man. But tell us a little bit about your journey into college, because I know we had a young man last week and talked about it. And hey, I am so proud of everything that y'all are doing out there. So, tell us a little bit about your journey into college. Although you did graduate from my high school alma mater, Green B. Trimble Technical High School in Fort Worth.
High school class of 2014. This year made 6 years. And then after that, I went to TCC, Tarrant County College in Fort Worth. And from there, when it was close to graduating, time to graduate, I looked at some options of what schools I wanted to go to. People who know me, my dream school was the University of Texas at Austin. So that's a little secret out there for you guys. But as you can see, I went the opposite route. But yeah, I applied to Texas Wesleyan. I applied to University of North Texas and the University of Oklahoma. I got into all three. But I wanted to do something different by stepping out on faith and seeing a different, part of the country. So I decided to go to the University of Oklahoma. I did graduate. That's something I did graduate with my associate's degree from TCC. Most people, they generally, go to TCC for a semester or a year, not knocking that or anything, but I went through the whole process of getting my degree because I just felt like it was more complete, and I feel like I was more prepared to transfer. Even though my mindset coming out of high school, I wanted to go straight from high school to college. But, as I think about that today, I'm glad I took the route that I took.
Well, you went from high school to college. Tarrant County College is a college. Come on, man.
Yes, but as they say, the big dog.
We all started there or took a class there. So don't play with my school. I went there, my kids went there, my niece went there. Come on now, we all started there. One, it was close.
Yes.
And it was affordable.
Yes, now, absolutely.
What did you get your degree in there at TCC?
At TCC, I got my Associate of Arts because that was the closest thing to my degree when I was transferring, planning to transfer. So that was the closest thing. I mean, they did have other classes like Northeast Campus where you could concentrate on broadcast journalism, but I just did the Associate of Arts.
Okay. Now, was it expensive to go to school there?
No, I actually left Tarrant County College debt-free. So that was truly a blessing to be able to get my first degree debt-free. So
you don't have any loans that you're paying or anything like that?
No, not from TCC. Now, Oklahoma, different story.
No, I'm talking TCC.
Yes,
your first degree, you own it.
Yes, I own it. No paying back Tarrant County College. They're not calling me, hey, you own this loan. None of that.
Dr. Linda is saying, smart young man, TCC rocks. But I'm proud of you because you actually did it. How long did it take you to get through there? I'm just going to ask this real quick.
It took me 4.5 because I worked and went to school at the same time, which I tell people every day, that's the best thing you could do because it helps you when you transfer off. You'll be able to know how to manage your money. You have money coming in as well, so it helps you manage your money. It helps you better prepare yourself, when you have the work mentality and the school mentality all in one. Okay.
All right. Understand. Now, you became a transfer student to the University of Oklahoma. Now, being a transfer student, how does that differ from being, a regular student? I guess you're a regular student, but being a transfer student, already having credit going into the University of Oklahoma. How was that?
Well, it's a great experience, but what I did notice at the University of Oklahoma, being a transfer student wasn't like really a big thing there because the majority of the students that go to Oklahoma, they are transferring. They're not transferring. They're coming in as a freshman. Yeah. Where I was coming in as a transfer student. So a lot of people was like, oh my gosh, you already got your associate's degree. Man, I wish I would have took that route. So it was very rewarding, and people were like coming to me asking me questions of how I got to that point and what made me want to go that route instead of going from being a high school senior to a college freshman at a university.
And you know what? Thinking of what's going on today in the world, a lot of people are wanting to stay close, starting close to home because it's not only just affordable, but, a lot of people aren't wanting to send their kids, across the country to a school where they can't get to them within, 2 hours.
Right.
So TCC is a great start. Now, when you were at TCC, did you live at home? Or
Yes, I did.
TCC doesn't have a dorm, so you lived at home?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
And that made it so much more cost effective because I did the same thing. Lived on Gibson Street, went home every day to my mother's cooking, and that was great. But so being a transfer student going into Oklahoma, did you move into the dorm or did you move off campus? What did you do?
Well, coming in as a transfer student, I decided I wanted to go to stay off campus. I didn't want to do the whole staying on campus. It's actually more cost efficient, honestly. And then, you have more restrictions at a dorm. And nothing against that, of course, because you have to have lines and rules, in place. So, I love staying off campus. It's amazing. I'm by myself. I make the rules. I do what I want to do, come home, relax, don't have to hear about all the, music, partying, and stuff like that. So that's what I love. And I've been the only child all my life. So it's kind of worked out perfect for me.
And I noticed you learn how to cook because you always post pictures of food.
Yes, I've been knowing how to cook and everything. My grandmother, she taught me how to cook and everything like that. So it really didn't come out of me until I moved by myself, because it's like, hey, you can't survive off of fast food every day because you're in college and you're trying to make it. So I said, you know what, let me start coming up with some recipes, things I like, researching and stuff. And so I started just cooking at home, and it's actually, I feel, more rewarding. I feel healthier, because I was back at home. I was just constantly fast food because it was quick,
Yes. Yeah. It was quick. You were working. You ran and got something to eat. And, I can't remember if TCC had a cafeteria or not.
South Campus, I heard they used to, and then TCC implemented the whole subway. But I think Trinity River Campus is the only one with a full cafeteria.
Yeah, because I think they had Subway back in the day when I went there. So yeah, you didn't get that full college food and all that stuff. But
right. Okay. I did when I transferred to University of Oklahoma. I did go in the cafeteria. I met up with my friends, Aaron and William. We'll think of different things, different times that works with everybody's schedule, so we can, have fun and talk about our school day and stuff like that.
Now, when you went there, how was it making the transition, being away from home, having to meet and learn new people, having to support and depend on yourself? I know that's a whole lot of questions, but
at first it was stressful because I have traveled a lot, being away from my family, but being away from my family for months, it was different. So it was different. I had to adapt. I had to remember that I was on my own schedule, that I had to be up and ready for classes because I stay a few minutes away from campus, so I will have to drive in, and then I took the shuttle rather than parking on campus. I took the shuttle, so that's even more time I had to be up early, and so that helped. But also, it was just having the friends that I met going to Camp Crimson during the summer last year helped. That's where I met my two of my closest friends, which is William and Aaron. They're actually listening in right now. So they helped me because we all were transfer students. So my whole group at Camp Crimson were transfer students. Even one of the camp leaders, her name is Miranda. She was also a TCC alum as well. So it kind of helped because we were both from the DFW area. So it went from the summer and then it transitioned over to the fall. We kept over, the little time that we was, out for summer, transitioned to fall. We text, letting everybody know our schedules and what we were going to do. So the summer really helped. That was actually the epitome of making my transition much easier.
Okay. Now, what was Camp Crimson?
Camp Crimson is really, it's like freshman camp. But they opened it up to transfer students because they want to know, how do OU work? What is OU all about? So it helped, give you a clear understanding of, their alma mater, traditions, stuff like that.
Okay. So, and that makes sense because as you go in, you are pretty much a new student. Right. So you don't know anything. You haven't been there before. And, just getting you acclimated to the campus. And speaking of that, how was getting acclimated to the campus?
It wasn't really hard because it's the South Oval and the North Oval. So once you know the South Oval and the North Oval, you're good because the two ovals are split by the Bizzle, which is the library. So
Mm-hmm.
if you come to the library, that means you're basically in the middle of campus.
Uh-huh.
So once I got used to the difference between the North Oval and the South Oval, it kind of made it clear cut for me.
Okay. All right. So now you're on campus. You are majoring in what?
Broadcast journalism.
Broadcast journalism. And what are you going to do? Well, what are you doing on campus to get you to that field or that career?
Well, I applied for a job. This is actually a job, and it's Sooner Vision. And Sooner
Mm-hmm.
Vision is a network, the school's network, and I think it's one of the three out of the whole entire country that the schools that has their own network. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's through the athletic department. And so I did like got hands-on experience. I started out, my first assignment was working a golf tournament for 8 hours in the heat. It was no joke. And then it went from, they sent out little jobs and stuff for the people that been there and new people. The next one was doing graphics for different shows, that live shows. And so I did the graphics, update the stats every week for the Big 12,
Mm-hmm.
which was cool. I was nervous, starting out doing it because I didn't want to make a mistake because this was going live. And so from there, it went transition to Coach's Corner. And so I ran camera for Coach's Corner that was hosted by Chris Plank and Teddy Lehman.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was amazing. I was nervous doing that too because I never actually ran a camera. I was used to being in front of the camera growing up, in middle school and high school. So actually being
Yeah.
behind the camera, I got to experience how things work, which, going into the field that I plan on going into, you have to know both sides. You can't just know running the camera or, doing the switchers, sound and stuff. Vice versa with, a person that's working, the personality, the reporter. You have to know what's going on behind the scenes as well.
Okay. So have you got to meet any cool people or any sports figures or anything like that since you've been doing Sooner Vision?
Yeah, I got to meet a few. I got to meet Ruffin McNeil, who used to be the head coach at East Carolina University. I grew up watching him when I was younger, and working Coach's Corner, I was like, I'm in the same room as Ruffin McNeil. But you have to keep your composure. You have to be professional, so you can't, show that. But I was able to, shake his hand, talk to him. I met Teddy Lehman, who was real big for the Superman play against Texas in the Cotton Bowl. I got to meet him. I got to meet Cal Gundy. I got to meet Alex Grinch, the defensive coordinator. Bill Vindo, which is the offensive line coach. Just numerous of people. Lon Kruger, which is the men's basketball coach. Sherry Cole. I got to meet a variety of people. I have seen, athletes, through campus. But of course, working for Sooner Vision, you have to be professional and keep your composure because you have to do the same thing when you make it to, actually being a broadcaster.
Mm-hmm. Hello. For those of you who are joining us or just joining us, either Facebook Live or listening to us on Fishbowl Radio Network, I am interviewing a wonderful young man named Brandon Lewis. He is a student at the University of Oklahoma, majoring in sports broadcasting or majoring in broadcasting. And he is very near and dear to my heart because he was one of my students when I first started teaching in Fort Worth ISD. Hey, Mercy from Brownsville, Texas, and Paul and a few other people who have joined us. So I'm happy that y'all are here with us. Brandon, you got people saying hello to you. Dwayne Henry.
Yeah, that's Coach Henry. I actually was a video manager for the varsity football team. So that's Coach Henry. He's the head football coach at Trimble Tech.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, he got there after I graduated, probably. But so why did you select broadcasting as your major?
Because this is something I knew, like, growing up since the second grade. This is what I wanted to do. Being a former athlete myself,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go, play collegiately, of course, but I
Yeah.
have to also think, at the same time, if I, got injured or something, you know, I have to move on. I have to have something behind me. I can't just focus on sports. So I just, just went academically, just thought academically. And so this is something that I always wanted to do, like I say, just repeat it, because I had a knack for sports and I love
Mm-hmm.
talking. If you know me, I love talking. I'll be talking to friends and just quoting, stuff about, sports. Did you hear about this? Did you hear about this trending? Stuff like that. So I mean, it's just something that I always wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, being at OU and being in broadcasting, tell me some of the things that you've learned. You've already mentioned, you can't just be focused on one thing. You have to be multifaceted, either sound or being behind the camera or doing graphics. What is like one of the best things that you've learned that you can share with our audience?
Um, Pretty much, don't be afraid to go out there and if
Mm-hmm.
ask questions. If you don't know anything, that's what I loved about Sooner Vision.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't make fun about anybody. Nobody thought they were better because they knew how to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was willing to teach, and they always tell
Mm-hmm.
you if you have questions, please ask because we're willing to help. We're a team here at Sooner Vision. This is our home, so we need to be able to take care of one another. And if we have a question about a project,
Mm-hmm.
you know, speak up because you don't want to. This stuff was going live, and this was
Mm-hmm.
all by students and professionals at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the good thing about it. We were teamed up with professionals, people who actually used to work in the field or still working in the field. So they would
Uh-huh.
help us, with different projects. They're like, don't be afraid to ask. Go out there and get all the experience you can because we want you to leave the University of Oklahoma with, you know, experience,
Mm-hmm.
ideas, because I might have certain ideas and then the other person might have different ideas and we can come together and we can make this one huge project.
Yeah. And that's very important. And I'm hearing that more and more and more with this generation. Because back when I graduated college, it's like, oh, you have a degree, now you have to go find a job. And it
Mm-hmm.
used to be said that there were more taxi drivers in America with degrees. Uh, they got a degree, couldn't find a job, ended up driving a taxi. But nowadays, a lot of you young people are putting yourselves out there while you're in school. Some
Right.
of them are becoming entrepreneurs. Many of them are connecting with the right people. You're already working in your field while you're in college, and I have to commend you on that. And Yaya said, "That's my best friend." And Tim said, "Go Trimble Tech." So you
Yeah,
got.
and it also before I even made it to OU, I got some experiences because we have an alumni watch paper, articles that we do
Yeah.
every month, and that's headed by Doc Jason Broad. He's the athletic trainer over at Trimble Tech, and
Mm-hmm.
he gave me a few assignments. So I worked with a lot of my former classmates and teammates as well
Mm-hmm.
on doing projects. So my first one was Darian Tenen. I did a project on him. He went off to Texas Tech and he
Okay.
became a Big 12 champion in the hurdles. I had another friend, Kanisha Bryant. She went to SAU, Southern Arkansas University.
Mm-hmm.
She ran track over there and she made it to the D2 national championships. And then another one of my close friends, Crystal Allen, she went off to started at Seattle University, then went to UCA, so she was close at home. I was able to see her, and then she went on to Ole Miss. So I got to do projects with them, and then also my biggest one was Deborah Ferguson of Channel 5 in the DFW
Oh,
area. Yes.
wow. So what did you do with her?
So it started out, with emails, of course, reaching out to her. Basically, I had to come to her and say, Ms. Ferguson, I would like to do an interview for with you for the alumni paper at Trimble Tech, because she is a Trimble Tech alumni.
Okay.
Um, so I had to go with her. I have to be professional business. then she, we scheduled a time. I went over to the station and we talked at the station. I interviewed, asked her questions. And this actually was a good experience because when they say, critiquing your papers and stuff like that, that is huge because literally she like ripped my paper to pieces. But, I appreciate it because she's wanting me to become a better, writer and better at my field because she does it on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. And so she only wanted, the best for me. So that was a big experience. Interviewing her, asking her questions, mm-hmm. Being on the other side of the, of the totem pole, where she's the reporter, she does it every day. And I'm the person, trying to get in and see how can I get there,
And I'm going to tell you, we are the worst in interviews. Interviewing us, I mean, you have to watch it because we'll turn it on you real quick. I mean, I was doing an interview of, oh my goodness, I forgot her name, but she runs the Fort Worth Black News, and Jill Darden, and her son were in the studio. And I had to catch myself. They were interviewing me instead of me interviewing. Because we're so used to asking the questions.
Right.
You have a lot of people on here. Felicia Garza said, "Hey, Brandon, great interview." And Barbara said, "You make us proud, Brandon Lewis." So you're doing a lot of great things because people are like rooting you on. But if, when you graduate, what are you looking at doing? Are you looking at being in front of the camera, behind the camera, or what?
My goal is to be in front of the camera, but I know going into this field, you have to start somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
So if I have to start from the bottom, being, if I have to take the papers to the reporters, going, doing research and stuff, that's what I have to do because, that's what you have to do. You can't just say, oh, I'm walking in and I'm doing this, No, mm-hmm. You have people who've been there for years, countless of mm-hmm. years. Yeah. And they have the experience. So you have to work your way up. And that's anywhere you go. That's not just in mm-hmm. this field. Anywhere you go, you have to work your way up. And that's how you become a better person, and better at what you do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I'm reading these things and my brain just stopped. I'm having a senior moment here. I know every show I talk about how old I am, but when you look at this, because I'm looking at your journey, and you have been very, very meticulous about your journey, from what you did to get through TCC debt free, not owing anybody, to mm-hmm. transferring to OU and taking your time and connecting with those great people. What would you have to say to a young man or young woman who is, let's say, a junior, sophomore, junior in high school right now, that's thinking about going to college?
Well, first I will say, make a list of your pros and cons of, mm-hmm. What you want to do in life, where you want to go. And then I'll say, once you get down to a certain number, work those things out and then start doing your research of what schools are perfect in those field that you want to go into.
Oh, yeah.
Also don't wait to the last minute. Don't wait till your junior or your senior year to mm-hmm. try to do research. Start doing your tours, freshman year, your sophomore year. Go to college fairs, connect with people, your teachers, you have teachers there who, have did many things. Not everybody that's been a teacher has always been a teacher. Some of them started, in their field first, and then they went to teaching. So ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Go to your counselors, mm-hmm. become friends with your advisors at the colleges, ask them questions. Like I say, the tours, they help. Because you want to know where you're going. You don't want to go to a school for 4 years and be unhappy. You want to know that school is the one. So just do your research, ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. And if you're having a hard time, of course, pray over it, because that's mm-hmm. what I did, coming to OU, I pray, Lord, is this where you want me to be? You know, because you want to know that you're for sure. You want to be comfortable. You want to know that you're going to meet people. You're going to network. You want to know that leaving from the school that you chose, you know, early on, that, you know, I feel like I did what I was supposed to do. I felt like I did what was right, and I'll be able to go on and succeed, you know, because that's what your goal should be, is to be able to leave a school and know that you can succeed. Of course, you're going to have your ups and downs. So, you know, that's life. So don't feel bad if you're having a hard time. Just be able to, you know, reach out to people and let them know what is happening, and, you know, they can help you.
Now, what about financial planning for school? Because I know college is expensive. Yes. It's real expensive. You know, unless you had a parent in the military in the great state of Texas, and and like my kids were able to go to school and graduate debt free. You know, sometimes we have to take a break. Sometimes we have to keep going. You know, tell us a little bit about, you know, financing these great pieces of paper that we have.
Well, I kind of didn't start learning that until like a couple of years ago, of course. And I'm getting better at it now, that, you know, I done moved away and everything like that, because, you know, your parents are not going to be with you always. Yeah. Number one, fast food. I can say stay away from, you know, if you can cook and stuff like that, try to do that. You know, get a graph or a chart and write all your, you know, your expenses down. And, you know, how much you make a month, or how much money you have, and just, you know, write it down and plan and see where, you know, how much you have left over. Like me, I try to live my life off of wants and needs. Wants is stuff that I want. You know, needs is what I need to survive and to make it on a daily basis.
Amen.
You know, so I try to live off of those two words. So yeah, plan everything out, because really it starts with the wants and needs, because you know, wanting something is totally different from needing something. You know, needs, if you actually plan that out and divide the two, you'll see how much more you're saving, you know. And I learned that also from, you know, my aunts, you know, mentors. That's another thing. Get a mentor if you can. You know, mentors that help you plan, and mentors don't have to always be a stranger, somebody you met elsewhere. It could be a family member. It can be a close friend. You know, it could be a principal, a teacher. But those people know they do life every day. So you just split those two and just, you know, see what do I really need. Start with the needs first. And then what you have left over, because you want to make sure those bills are covered, because bills are going to keep coming. You know,
Aaron Walker said definitely.
So you want those bills taken care of first, and then you can move on to your wants and go from there, you know. So just plan ahead. You know, if you know the bills are there every month, so plan out the stuff that you know that comes out every month and have to be paid every month, and go from there. Because even me, I have did that, and it's sometimes I don't want anything, and I have extra money to spend on something else. You know, if I want to go out with some friends, you know, I want to go back home. It takes gas to go back home too. It's not just going to happen, you know. So just, you know, having the wants and needs. I start with wants and needs always, you know. So I try to distance myself with that.
And you know what that also helps you to be able to graduate and not have $200,000 worth of school loans that you got to pay for 30 years after you graduated. Because you have to pay those things back. They're not forgiven.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why they call loans.
And if you have to take a semester off, because I've had to take semesters off to work, so that when I graduated with my undergraduate, I didn't have debt.
Right.
I mean, and that takes a lot. That takes discipline. Now, we were talking the other day, and I'm going back to your broadcasting situation and the people you've met. And you were talking about some of the people that you met there, and you were saying that you went to a football game or some game, and somebody took you. You didn't know you were going to be in their box or something. So
Yeah, that's one of my
share that story
mentors.
with us.
Oh yeah, one of my mentors, Mr. Starr, Frank Starr.
Uh-huh.
He's an OU alum as well. I became cool with him back in Fort Worth. It started out going to church with networking. So it took steps to get there, because as a mentor, they want to see how, serious you are. Are you serious about your business? Yeah, it was, I've been there multiple times, but I got to go up there this past fall semester, and I was just hanging out, enjoying the game. I can't remember which game this was. I think it was the Iowa State game against Iowa State. And I was just hanging out, and Perry was like, "Oh my gosh, the Switz just walked past." And the Switz is Barry Switzer. If you know him, he's one of the few coaches that won a Super Bowl and a national championship. So yeah, he walked through, and you saw all these state troopers, police, and everything covering, watching over him. And then he came back. So I got to, shake his hand and take a picture with him. And it was rewarding. I'm look at it as a humble experience. How, he was able to get to where he was, today. This man is still a great guy, even being retired from coaching. He still roots, for OU, the Cowboys, but it's just phenomenal that I got to experience that, because I knew Barry Switzer, even though, he's like before my time, but I know, doing research and being in the sports, field, you get to hear about these people and just actually meet a legend. Now that's a Hall of Famer, both in NFL and college. So that was one of my huge, just in person, experiences with, a Hall of Famer.
Wow.
Yes.
I mean, you got to feel so special.
Yes.
That's why, that's why.
I look at it as a blessing. It's a blessing. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's why I was like, when I first was gonna have you on the show, and then we moved to Globe Life Park, and I'm like, oh, I can have him at Globe Life Park.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it home this summer because of the situation that's going on. I'm like, you know what? I'm not even gonna wait. I'm not gonna wait. I'm gonna have him now. And on the other hand, when I get back, you gonna come on the show. I don't care if it's your show or you just sitting in there asking questions with me.
Yes.
Because people are sitting here saying, he sounds like he's a broadcaster already. But, you talk about your mentors, you talk about, the people in your life. And I know your grandmother. I mean, I don't know your grandmother. I've met your grandmother.
Right.
She has been just such a big angel in your life. So I want you to give a shout out to her.
Yes,
and, I'm
gonna give a shout out to both of my grandmothers, Grandma Lily Lewis and Grandma Denise Brown. And I'm gonna give a shout out to both of them because those are two big players on both of my sides. They both helped me get to where I need to be.
Amen.
Mm-hmm. So I first give honor to God definitely for having those people in my life.
Yeah, you were probably spoiled because I remember you. I remember you, and you was the Dunbar. But we're not gonna talk about that, y'all. We're not gonna talk about that. But I'm looking at what you're doing, and you're starting to set that path. Okay, in that path right now, what are some of the classes that you've had to take at OU to get you there?
Believe it or not, people don't realize this. I had to take an art class, learning the history of art, and that was actually yes, it was a requirement for my degree here at OU. I was actually maybe one or two out of the whole entire class that was a non-art major. And so I was sitting in this class because I switched from another class to this art class. Mm-hmm. And I was sitting in this class. The professor, she was happy to have me because I wasn't an art major. Okay. And so I was sitting in this class, just analyzing, just sitting back. And I'm just like, I don't know if I'm going to survive in this class. Mm-hmm. But with the help of, my professor, she helped me get through it. And it was actually rewarding because, believe it or not, I'm in an art class. My major is under the arts. So I had to, learn about different arts. And then I took a science and popular culture class, which was amazing. Got to learn about how stuff is trending, how stuff started, different inventions from way back to present day. It was weird. No lie, it was weird, but stuff I didn't know about, and it actually helps, and it kind of fizzled in with what I'm trying to do in life. I took a nutrition class last semester. Trying to see what else. That's all I can think of off the top of my head, because I guess those are classes that got my attention mainly. I took a film class. Matter of fact, I took an Israeli to culture through film class. And no lie, that class was so boring because I had it after lunch. And once you get full, and the lights, we had like these shades that go over the windows, and it was like dark. So I would fall asleep in this class. I passed though. I did good. But, it was classes like that you didn't think you would have to take, to get your degree. But, I mean, it's actually helpful because you're learning, about outside things, not just what you're focused on, but outside experiences as well. So, I mean, it was helpful.
And, that's awesome that you say that. And I'm glad that you mentioned the specific classes because, a lot of people really don't understand when you go to college, you still take classes outside of that are not just concentrated on your major. Right. Like if you are a engineering major, you take other classes that are not engineering classes, like you said, art history, kinesiology. You got to take first aid, whatever that's in that list. And a lot of people that I have met, and even myself, taking those classes has really broadened my vision of what the world is supposed to be,
right,
and what the world is supposed to be like. So I'm glad that you mentioned those. But
yes.
But don't take watch yourself taking classes right after lunch because you will get the itis and
yes, and I have to survive. Yes, and being a broadcast journalism major, we talk about your tone and how you talk. You want to keep people in and engaged.
Yes.
And that professor, I just don't know. He wasn't really engaging. I would listen to him. I tried my best to focus and whatnot, but it just didn't work, but like I say, I survived, thank God. I made it through. So that's it.
So when you go back next semester, what courses are you going to be taking?
Well, I have to take a test because we have to take a test before we actually get fully into the College of Journalism.
Yeah.
So I have to take that. So I'm kind of still like taking electives. I haven't like really dove in exactly what I'm going to take yet. But once I take that test, then it'll open more classes for me. And this is something I didn't know before coming to OU.
See, and that's one of the things you mentioned earlier was doing your research. And a lot of times you don't know till you get there. Like when my son thought he wanted to get a degree in music, come to find out he wanted a degree in media production, because that's what he does. He's on the back end of the camera. He had to go and audition to get into the school. He had to go play a song and sing. Thank God the child played several instruments and had a decent voice, and he went in, sung the song, and then he came back. He goes, "Mama, that's not what I wanted."
Yeah, you never know until you're like actually there, and sometimes that's what's going to happen. You're not going to, know everything. You're going to have surprises, once you get there. So when they told me about this test, I was like, "Are you serious?" Like, I didn't know I had to take this test. I could have had that done a long time ago. So yeah, once I take that test, then it'll open more classes to my major.
Yeah, it's like reading the fine print on a contract.
Yes. 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 You have to read everything. And, and that's another thing too. You have to like find your connections who can help you with the intel information. Like
Yeah.
I'm just going to be plain and simple with you. This is what you need to do now. You need to follow my directions. This is what you need to do. Don't do anything different because, they know they're helping you out. But then you
Mm-hmm.
have some that, they don't really help you out. And sometimes, you just have to take it with a grain of salt and just move on. Don't let it hinder you or stop you. You got to keep pushing.
Yeah. And that's kind of having, I'm not going to say positive and negative mentors, but you have those mentors that are like, yep, I better follow everything this person says. Then you have those mentors that, are there for comfort that'll, kind of say, okay, just got to keep going. They may not know anything,
Right.
but they keep you motivated and keep you moving forward.
Right.
But so, we've got about 8 minutes left.
Okay.
Yeah. So take this time to give shouts out or anything that you think our audience should know about making the transition from a college close to home to a college far away, selecting a major, making those connections with people, especially in your majors, or what you're wanting to do with broadcasting. This is your open floor.
Okay. Well, first I want to give a shout out to my parents, my grandmothers, my aunties,
Hey,
uncles, my teachers, my mentors. People have met along the way. When they say it takes a village to raise a child, that is absolutely true. So I want to thank all those people, my supporting cast, for helping me get there. Close friends, classmates, even people I have met here at OU. I got a friend, Miles, that I work close with too. He's wanting to do the same thing.
okay.
So yeah, I just want to give a shout out to all those people who have been there, my true epitome to get me to where I'm. It's been ups and downs. Of course, you're gonna have that, but that what makes you a stronger person.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I want to with this time going through the pandemic, I want to give the class of 2020 a shout out. This is a class of perseverance
Yes, yes,
because
yes.
they truly are going through a hard time. Getting proms taken away from them, graduations, not being able to go on their true college tours, all that stuff. So I definitely want to say, keep you guys head up, keep pushing. Just know this is a class of history. You're going to go down in history for being able to go through everything that you have went through. Don't let it stop you. Just keep pushing, 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 pushing. But luckily, some local places, like AT&T Stadium, Gold
Yeah.
Life Field in Arlington, they're, coming together to be able to make this stuff happen. Of
Yes.
course, with the restrictions, with the CDC. So I definitely want to give a shout out to them because I have a few family friends who are in the class of 2020 and
Mm-hmm.
some friends also graduating from college. So I definitely want to say, just keep your head up. Definitely, don't let it stop you. Keep God first and do everything you can to fulfill your dreams. Let's see. You have any more questions for me? I felt like I said a mouthful. I felt like I said a mouthful there.
Like you did in middle school. But and you're so right. I mean, I was driving up to the volcano this weekend and got caught up in two graduation caravans
Mm-hmm.
where people were driving their children down the street to get their diplomas because they had drive-through graduations. So this is a generation of perseverance, a
Yes.
generation of strength, and a
Yes.
generation of hope. And
Yes.
how we do things is going to be different. And as I said to you earlier, I am so proud of you because y'all are doing some of the things that we did not do back. And I ain't gonna say back when I went to college because well, no,
Right.
but you're already making those connections in college. You're already doing those things in college that to get you to your next step, to get you to that career. And you're making those great critical decisions early. And
Yes.
that's a blessing instead of here I am a senior in college and where am I going to go to work? You're
Right,
making
right.
connections. And so, and yeah, I thinking just listening to you has shown me that you're going to do it. You're going to make it.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
it's hard sometimes, but you have to do what you have to do. And like I said, I do everything first with God, of course, around me. You live every day going through things, but my mindset also, you want to wake up the next day in a better mindset than you were the day before. When you go to sleep, before you even go to sleep, you want to let that go and wake up a new person, and a lot of things have taught me, like this pandemic have taught, we have to just, make things happen. We have to take advantage of the opportunities that are out there. Take your opportunities. I try to coach to my friends because one of my best friends, she was in class of 2020, and her name is Victoria. She, was on that path of, she wants to stick in the medical field or education. And I just say, do what's best for you. You're always going to have those people out there telling you, oh, don't do that. You need to do this. Try to control your life. You should know the difference of people that's trying to help you and people that's trying to control what you're trying to do. So, I just try to coach the people. I coach to all age groups, and I'm willing to take, advice from people even younger than me because we all live a different, token of life.
Yes, we do.
Not everybody's life is the same. We all walk a different life, and so I try to take that into consideration with everyone, people that I come across with, just a learning process. Life is a learning process.
And on that note, hey, I want to thank you, because I've been trying to get you on the show for a while, but life has given us a few blows with the transitioning of Fishbowl to Globe Life Park, and then the pandemic coming up. But hey, I am so glad to finally connect with you on the show and to let you know face to face that I'm still extremely proud of you. And if you don't keep it going, I'm going to kick you in the knees, okay?
Well, I appreciate that. I most definitely appreciate that. And thank you for being, who you were my 8th grade year, being on top of everything. You came in with that military mentality. But I can say it did help. And, even in 2020, that was back in 2009, even in 2020, we're still connecting and still making things happen.
All right. Well, hey, thank you. And Paul is here, so I guess I'm going to have to get off the show. But I want to thank all my listeners out there. June is going to be another great month. I have got some STEM education game developers and instructional developers coming on. And so please continue to listen. And Brandon, thank you for coming on the show. And now you're part of what we call the All About STEM radio community. So until next week.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.